What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Steph Irina, aka Gem of the Jungle. I'm back. Can I put some Mace on this channel? No, I'll probably get copyright infringement. But I am back. I'm better. You know, I had to take a little hiatus again. But I'm back. And as for now, I just really want to get into the story. Sorry, my lash is bothering me. I don't know what's up with it. I got a story for you. I got a story for y'all. So, as you can see from the title of this video, I don't know what I'm going to name it yet. I'm going to probably go with either my last relapse, because that's what it was, or the time leading up to my clean date. They both work, because my last relapse was the last time I got high, and leading up to my clean date, which is May 8th, 2019. 3 years, like, coming the fuck up. Ooh, excuse me. 3 years coming up. Like, when I started this channel, we were creeping up on 2 years. And now, you know, May is not next month, but May, I'm closer to 3 years than I am 2 years at this point. So, since the last video, we passed 2, we're on our way to 3, and I'm very proud of that. So, let's just get right into the story. I want to put a trigger warning. There will be talks of overdose and obviously addiction in this video. So let's get started. So in January of 2019, or let's even backtrack to the month prior, December 2018, I had a few months clean. Now, I was going to meetings, but I was not really, I didn't get involved like I am now. I didn't have a sponsor. I didn't do any, like, I didn't call people. I would just go to meetings and then I would leave. Go to meetings and I leave. Go to meetings, leave. After a while, it's not enough. I got high for a lot of years, and I could easily, at this time, tell myself, you're not an addict. You could get high. You could have one. You could do one more. You could drink. You could smoke. So that's kind of where I was at. And during this time, I had been hanging out with a girl. We're going to call her Vanessa for the story. Now, Vanessa, I have absolutely nothing but the most utmost love and respect for. She knows this. I tell her, you know, how I feel about her. We were, like, inseparable at this time, and she really holds a special place in my heart, because without her, like, I couldn't have got that little bit of time clean. And although it didn't go the way we hoped it would go, probably, she helped introduce me to people in, you know, the 12-step program I'm in, that if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have met these people. And then when I was ready to get clean, I wouldn't have had anyone to go to. I wouldn't have had a network of people that were able to, like, you know, take me under their wing if it wasn't for her. So she 100%, even though we ended up, you'll see in the story, but I really do feel that I needed her in my story, like 100%. I don't think I'd be here without her. So me and Vanessa have been hanging out a lot. We met at a women's meeting. I will go to meetings with her literally every single day. And we would just go everywhere. Like, we never took a day off, which wasn't bad at the time. Like, when you're new, they suggest that you go to 90 meetings in 90 days. And for people who don't know what meetings are usually involved with a 12-step fellowship, like Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous. They suggest, like, you go to 90 meetings in 90 days. Meetings are not something mandatory. It's not rehab. It's not a counselor. Like, meetings are run by addicts or alcoholics, whatever you want to, you know, whichever one you go to, for addicts. So run by addicts for addicts, meaning speakers or step meetings, and there's just a lot that goes into it. But for the base of the story, we'll keep it at meetings are something that are not mandatory. But at the time when I was trying to get clean and change my life, I had just came out of another rehab. I was, like, really trying to give it my all. So unfortunately, me and Vanessa, you know, I started hanging out with her, I want to say, like, November, December, like, we were getting a little groove. And then came January. Well, it was really the end of December. End of December 2018, without knowing, Vanessa and I separately both got high one time. I was devastated at a relationship with a boy that I barely knew that lived in New York. I thought we were gonna get married. Like, it was my everything. Like, it didn't work out. And I was newly clean. So, like, all the feelings, I hadn't felt feelings in a while. So, like, everything was new to me. So I really was, like, not able to handle the devastation of this, like, breakup. Looking back on it, it was so dumb. But, like, I didn't have what I have now, which is, like, a foundation, people in my life. Like, it was just me, my friend, and meetings. And, like, when shit hit the fan, I didn't want to feel that pain. I did not want to feel that pain. So it was, like in my chest. I remember I was like, nah, I can't feel this. Like, I need to do something. So I got high. Like, I made a decision to get high that day. I took one Perk 10, which did absolutely nothing to me because I had, like, used hard for, like, so many years, and honestly I thought the Perk 10 would work because I hadn't done drugs in a long time, and it did absolutely nothing. It was in my house, but in my defense, it was really my mom's medication that I had used up 90% of the pills in the bottle while I was getting high, and I would fill it with Excedrin migraine pills because they were, like, white ovals, and I would put them at the bottom, and I would sprinkle her perks on top because she didn't use them. My mom does not take pain meds. She got them when she got surgery and never touched them a day in her life. I think she literally took half of one. So there was, like, 39 and a half left. While I was using months prior, I did about 35 of them and left her, like, 4. So I knew there were 4 perks in my house that day. And I made a decision. It had crossed my mind. It wasn't the first time I relapsed. It was actually the second time I had relapsed. The first time I made a decision, I called my ex-boyfriend. I said, let's get high, whatever. Like, just one time. This time, I did not plan on it. Because I saw what happened the last time. I was going to get high just one day, and then it turned into, like, 3 months. And I ended up back in a rehab. So, like, this time it came out of nowhere. I remember that feeling coming up in my throat, and I, like, literally was like, if I don't get high right now, I think I will die. Like, I think my feelings will literally kill me. So I used. I pretended it never happened. I didn't want to tell anybody I was about to have 6 months clean. I didn't want to tell someone. I was going to pretend like it never happened. But, like, my behavior from that day on was just not the same. Like, I was in a bad mood constantly. Like, I was snapping at people. I really knew in my heart that I was not 6 months clean. It was just like the last time. I had used and didn't want to tell nobody. But that was my first mistake because I didn't want to tell anybody. Next thing you know, it's the New Year's convention of the fellowship that I'm in. So New Year's convention is, like, this big thing. It's at a hotel. There's, like, thousands and thousands of people. It's obviously on New Year's Eve. It's a big party, and me and Vanessa were going. So the day comes, and I'm, you know, getting ready, and she's calling me. I'm giving her the ill attitude, like, I'm just not being nice. And she's like, what is going on with you? I'm just like, what are you talking about? She's like, what's up with you? Like, why are you acting like this? Why have you been acting like this the past 2 days? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'll see you in a few. So I get to her house, my attitude didn't change. I was still in a terrible mood. Me and her start fighting for, like, no reason. We were arguing. And, like, I'm all dressed up. She's all dressed up. We're about to go to this party. About to be getting our recovery on. Clean night. Like, all of a sudden, I remember it was pouring rain. I was like, I was arguing with her, and we were just, like, going at it a little too much. And I was like, girl, I'll give you your space. I'm going to go to my car and smoke a cigarette. You finish getting ready. So I go outside. While I'm in my car, she calls me, and she's like, what's up with you? Like, why are you outside? What are you doing in your car? What are you doing? And I'm like, what? I'm not doing anything. Mind you, I wasn't. I didn't have drugs. I was pretending that whole slip up never happened. Like, I was like, no, I'm not getting high. I'm not doing this again. Like, I'm just going to pretend like it never happened. She's like, do you have drugs in your car right now? Is that what you're doing? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? And I didn't. And then the magic word that every addict with another addict, like, if you say these words, it's on. Like, she was like, well, if you're getting high, like, you need to tell me because I want some. When she said that, I said, because, bro, I'm already on the edge. Like, I already took the leap, tried to backtrack, and I'm on the ledge again. Like, and my friend, who was also struggling, really was, like, on the edge herself, tells me she wants to get high too. I was like, what? And then I come in, we talk. She tells me that she had just relapsed a couple days before on like one pill. I was like, I relapsed on one pill too. This is crazy. And we're like, so what should we do? Should we go to the convention or should we get high? Or should we do both? Let's do both. So we made a pact like all addicts do when you're relapsing together. We're like, it's just gonna be today. We're only gonna do it tonight. Like after that, like we're getting our shit together. Like we'll come back in the meeting and tell everybody that we relapsed. Like we're like, bet, no problem. And she looked me in my eye and like made me promise her that like I wasn't gonna get high after that, which we all know was like a beautiful lie. Like I was completely lying. I might have thought at the time that I wasn't gonna get high after that night, but she and I both knew that we were both about to go on a run of our lives. So we get in the car. Remember, we got gas, got cigarettes. It's raining. I'm driving. We're both in like a dress. We go to the projects in Newark. Cause now mind you, I had been getting high the last time or two, like that, like leading up to this time in my life, I was getting high with a boyfriend and I really was just getting high with him. I had plenty of times in my life where I was getting high alone, where I would just continue on by myself, like without the guy, get back with the guy, whatever the case may be. But at this time in my life, I was using with a boyfriend. And then when I got clean, I would leave him. And then every time I would relapse, I would go back to him because he was the person that I would get high with. And not only that, but like I was past that point of like had people on deck, pulling up places, getting out of the car. Like I would have him call, him get what I needed, and that would be it. Like I wanted little to no parts in the whole progress of getting drugs. So I was like, I got nobody to call because I'm not calling my ex right now. It's not the time for that. Like, I'll decide if I want to run with him again. I'll think about it. But right now, me and you getting high I have nothing to call. No one to call. And she's like, no problem. I got it. I'm like, all right. So I figured we were going to pull up in some projects like because I've done that before too. So we get there. We get the drugs. We leave. We're driving. And I'm like, you should do it first. And she agreed because I'm driving. So God forbid something happens while we're driving doing this. Don't recommend this at all. It's very dangerous. But, getting high while driving. I was like, you do some, let me know if it's okay. And then I'll do some. So if God forbid something happens, I don't kill us both. And she's like, good idea. This is like this sick thinking that goes on. So she does some. She's like, it's good. It's fine. I do some. We're high. I'm like, all right, we're about to roll up to a like recovery, clean ass place. Like, don't act high. You can't be nodding out. These people think we're clean. Keep it together. She's like, I got this. Now we're in there and people are sharing and it's this big ass room and I'm looking at her and she's kind of like this and I'm like, girl, wake up. And then she's fine and then I start feeling nauseous and I'm like, yo, this is not it. Like, the times of getting high where it was fun were like gone. And this was just like coming full circle. Because of course, yeah, maybe it's not fun to be high at a place where you can't even act like you're high. But even if I wasn't there, the party was over. Like the fun, getting high was no longer. Like that's why every time I would relapse, it would last 3 months tops and I would get clean again. Because I was like, this is not even fun anymore. Like it wasn't carefree. It wasn't like summer on the block, like drinking 40s. Like I was over. Like it was like misery and pain and suffering. And it was cold. It was always cold for some reason. And even when I got high in the summer, it just seemed so cold because everything in my life was dark and gray. So the next day, we survived that night. I don't know how. Like no one really suspected anything except this one girl that we were like rooming with. She kind of thought we were high, but we were both telling her, like, she was asking me, oh, is she high? And then she was asking my friend Vanessa, oh, is Steph high? And we were both like, no, hell no, not at all. We're sick. We got sniffles. Like, but reality was we were high and she did know. She was on point. But the next day, me and Vanessa leave. And this is where it gets kind of scary because we were like, of course, okay, now it's New Year's Day. We bring the BS into 2019. We're like, let's get high one more time and that's it. Like, already we're breaking our promise of just tonight. We already said just tonight, and now it's not just tonight. So we're like, fine though, let's do it. I like, drive us back. We go, we get more. And I want to say we left and thought we didn't get enough. Like, it's just sick. It's insane. Like, we're like, okay, let's just get a little more because we're never coming back again after today. And mind you, this wasn't even my drug of choice at the time, like, or to this day. Like, my drug of choice was never what we were doing. It was like the thing that you do before that, but it just always leads to that. And I had done that, the greater of the two, plenty of times, but it wasn't really my drug of choice. My drug of choice was just more expensive and it was harder to come by, and we didn't have time for that. And I knew she wasn't really down to do that. So I just, obviously it was still down because it's almost the same thing. But regardless, we were like, let's get more. So I had to go to the ATM to get out cash. I bring her and the drug dealer. He comes too for the ride. We go to the ATM in Newark. I'm like, let me get cash. You guys want anything? He's like, I'm about to come in too. I'm like, Vanessa, do you want anything? She's like, no, I'm good. And then I go inside, getting the money out of the ATM. Me and the drug dealer are just talking casually. We come back to the car, and this is like, in no way, shape, or form, like, I'm just gonna tell it like how it happened, but this shit wasn't funny. I come back and I see my friend in the passenger seat, and also I was high, so I was like desensitized to the whole ordeal. Like, I wasn't how I am now. If it was how I am now, I would never be in this position, obviously. But if I seen something like this, like, I don't know. It's when you're getting high, you're not in reality. Like, nothing is what it seems. Like, obviously I knew what was going on. It's not like I was out of my mind, like psychosis, but like, you're just numb. So the type of stuff that like would make normal people be like, why would you ever do this? Like, it's like, you don't get it until you're there. You had to be there. So anyway, I see my friend. She's like face down like this. And I like get in, I sit down, and I like shake her. I'm like, wake up. And she's not waking up. And then I'm like, I grab her face like this and pull it to me, and I see her lips are blue. So now I'm panicking. So I'm literally slapping her. Like, cause honestly, like, I don't know, it's like a drug addict thing. Like, you just know. She's not waking up. And I just like freaked out at that point. I called 911. I don't give a damn about him. He can go. He left. I call 911. 911, I tell them my friend is overdosing. They say they're coming. Literally 5 to 7 minutes goes by and they're not there. I don't know what the protocol is. I don't know if that's long or not, but all I knew is my friend was gonna die and they weren't there yet. So I called them again. I'm like, where are you? Like, can y'all give me an ETA? Like, literally, I was like hysterical. I'm like, yo, my friend is gonna die. Like, where are you? And they're like, we're coming. Finally, they arrive. And now at this point, like, something in me told me that it was just gonna be okay. Like, something in me made me, like, and this is what's sick about addiction, because I really thought it was gonna be okay, but it damn well could have not. She could have not made it. And, like, they get her on a stretcher, they put her in the car, and the ambulance, and they pull off. And they tell me they're going to whatever the fuck it was. I forget the hospital. It doesn't matter. In Belleville. I follow them. And as I'm following them, I'm doing the drugs that my friend just overdosed on. Not wanting to be feeling in that moment. And the thing, like, some people might be thinking is, like, well, how do you get to this point? And, like, how do you not care, like, that you're doing something so dangerous? Like, I now look back and think that that was so wild. Like, but me using, you don't think anything's gonna happen to you. Even my friend overdosing in front of me, I still didn't think anything was gonna happen to me. Like, I was like, well, I'm good. I'll be fine. It's just, she has a low tolerance. She told me that. Like, I don't overdose, so I'm not gonna. Absolutely sick. Like, there's no reason why I thought that I should be invincible or something. Because, like, I wasn't. So, I made it to the hospital. She ends up being okay. I forget how I found her, but I somehow find her. She's, like, awake. I'm like, why would you scare me like that? I like yelling at her almost. Like, why would you overdose? Like, the logic is just insane. And she was like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Like, I was like, yo, you scared me. I was crying hysterically. She's like taking the wires out of her arm. They're like, you can't leave. Way, yes, we're leaving. We leave. Took me almost 5 months after that to get clean. That was January. February, March, April, May-ish, like 4.5 months till I got clean. It was supposed to be one night. My friend almost died. We leave the hospital in shambles. It wasn't enough. Like, that was nowhere near enough to stop me. What people don't understand about addiction is those outside things. Like, yes, I can see that someone just overdosed. I can see that, you know, these bad things are happening. But until you're ready, like, internally, you're not gonna stop. That's not gonna stop me. There's absolutely no way, especially once you pick up one drug and it activates the disease, because addiction is a disease. Like, whether you're living in the Stone Age and you don't know that by now, addiction is actually a disease. It's recognized in like the American Psychology Association like book where they write all the mental illnesses. Addiction, substance abuse disorder is a mental illness. So just like people who are bipolar or schizophrenic or have depression or anxiety, they need medication. There's no medication for addiction. The only way to treat addiction is through things like treatment centers, rehabs, detoxing them, and then hoping that they will take the initiative themselves to go to 12-step fellowships, to build a network, to do, you know, what it takes to stay clean. That's it. There is no cure. So before you judge an addict in your life, remember that. They're not bad people, they're sick people. They might do bad things that you hate, but hate the disease then. Don't judge an addict, you know, for what they're dealing with inside. Judge them or, you know, decide whether or not you want them in your life based on what they're doing to counteract that disease. Like, for example, it took me a while, but now I don't get high. I stick to what works for me, which is meetings and a sponsor and like this 12-step program I'm in, the meetings I go to, I choose to go to. I'm not forced to go. Me having to go somewhere ended when I left the rehab. Like, everything else is voluntary. So let's get back to let's wrap up the story. After, you know, those few months, I met another guy. We got high together a little bit. What are we gonna call him? We'll call him Ray. Me and Ray got high from like April to May. It was real short, real quick. I was supposed to be clean. Everybody thought I had like 9 months clean, but I had a relapse with Vanessa. She almost died on me. We got high a little bit after that, tried to go to meetings again. It failed miserably. And I brought about 2 people in with me. I let my friend know, who's like my best friend to this day. I'll do a story time on her another time. That's Bunny. Everybody knows that. That's my girl. But she knew I was using. Another friend knew I was using, who is also a real dear friend to me. We'll call him Ricky. Ricky and Bunny were like the only people at the time who knew that I wasn't really clean. I was using. Ricky was in the program I'm in, the fellowship, and had clean time. And he was somebody who was just trying to help me get through the day and just get me clean. Whereas Bunny, she was using also. Nobody knew that she was using, and we went to kindergarten together, so we were like, let's link up. And then we did. So I had my friend from kindergarten, and then I met another person in this little mini run before I got clean, named Ray. We'll call him. He hit me up on Twitter, mad random. He was like, oh, I see you're in recovery. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in recovery. Everybody knew that, you know, I went to meetings and stuff. So I just figured he told me too that he was also clean, and we basically did the same drug, and I was like, oh, that's what's up. He's like, we should meet up one day. I'm like, yeah, maybe, like, whatever. In my head, I'm like, I'm not clean. I'll let you know. Finally, I ended up hanging out with him, and pretty early on, we told each other that we're both not really clean, and then we started getting high together. And that was the fucking beginning of the end for me, because it was at, like, the end of my run. My runs usually don't, at this time, like, once I got clean and went to rehab and, like, did meetings, my runs never lasted more than, like, 3 months. Other points in my life, I was never clean. ever. So it went on for years. But at these points in my life, I had a little bit of recovery. So I would like relapse and then I'd want to get clean again because I didn't want to live like that. I knew there was a better way. So once me and Ray started getting high, it got real bad. I'm sad and low, yeah. I'm sad and low, yeah. Like I was doing that drug that like was the step above that what I didn't really want to do, but I had no choice. And like, you know, I was scared that I was gonna overdose. He was come close to it, and like I was like, I gotta get out of here or I'm going to die. Like I felt it in my bones that the end was near. I didn't know if the end of my using and I was about to start a new life, like get a fresh breath of fresh air, like I was gonna get clean again and start fresh, or I was gonna die. It was like one or the other. I felt something was coming. So I was just like, I need to get clean. I can't do this anymore. It doesn't matter who's coming with me, I'm getting clean. Like, so the day before I went to rehab, or the days before I went to this last rehab, I started telling on myself. I was telling people in my life that, you know, like my parents, and letting them know that I relapsed. My dad, you know, I lost my dad recently, and it was like the absolute worst thing that could ever happen to me. I'll save that for like another video, but I absolutely love and adore my dad, and like he was so much of a reason why I got clean every time. And I remember he reached out to me out of nowhere on like a random Tuesday morning at 8:30 and said, what's going on? Like he meant it like, what's up? Like, how are you? What's going on? But like deep down, he really meant like, what's going on? Because he knew, like, even though we don't live together, like he knew that like something was up with me. And I remember either I called him immediately or I like texted back and said like, I'm not okay. And then he called me, but that's when I told him. And like, if it wasn't for that, I don't know when I would have told him, and if I would have even made it that far, I would have died. So like everything happens for a reason. You know, I ended up going to rehab, and that was the story I have on this channel that says rehab tech scandal. That was that rehab. So that was my life leading up to the rehab tech scandal and my clean date, which is, like I said, May 8th, 20. I have almost 2 years and like 7 months clean. So I'm creeping up on 3 years. Very excited. It's like, I could go on forever and ever. I see this getting close to like 30 minutes and it's like, girl, why do you have so much to say? But at this point in my life, like reflecting on this stuff really is like what I do. Like it's my purpose, because what I do in this 12-step fellowship is I share my story and I, you know, help women or men, whoever, you know, just like people help me. I'm not special. I'm not a hero. I'm just doing what was done for me. I'm just giving back what was so freely given to me. I use this channel as maybe a means to help even more people and also just express myself. And because it's something I enjoy doing, I love talking. As you can see, Gemini shit. But anyway, I came in here winging it. I wrote nothing down. I had no idea where I was going to take it, what I was going to say, how long I was going to say each thing. Like, I kind of just came in and let God talk through me. So, thank you guys for listening. And I'm going to actually maybe have something more like interactive. I'm going to do like a Q&A. I'm going to put out my story, you know, ask me questions, and then I'll answer them in my video. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. And then in the meantime, I'll just keep pumping out more stories because I have a million. But this was the story of me getting clean this last time, leading up to my final day using, really. I haven't gotten high since May 7th, 2019. And that last day I was with my ex-boyfriend. Screw the guy, screw everybody. I always end up back with the ex-boyfriend because he was convenient. No offense, like, it's the truth. He and I, you know, at that point, like, knew what it was. He knew that I wasn't going to be around if I wasn't using. So as soon as I relapsed, he would welcome me back with open arms. He'd get to hang out with me, and that would be it. Once I got clean, it was see ya. And I just have nothing but love for him. We don't speak at all. We're like two completely different people. But, you know, there's nothing but love there. But my last day using consisted of me calling the rehab. You know, at this point, I had isolated from everybody I had gotten high with, the friend, the guy I met, the girl that I was going to meetings with. It was just me, myself, and God, and my ex who helped me. And I was in the Dollar Tree in Newark calling the rehab. picking out flip-flops, saying, oh, I need this, I need this, I need this, like packing a bag for rehab as if I'm going on a tropical vacation. But, you know, that's just, I was high as hell, so it sounded like a good idea at the time. And I remember my dad was like, go home. Because I had told my job, I told everybody I was going to rehab that day. I told them all, like, this is it. I'll see y'all in a month. And my dad was like begging me to go home and stay there. I was like, you got it. I'm on my way. After I go to Newark one time. So that's what I did. Then I went home and I packed my bags and they picked me up. And the rest is history. Not without a lot of hard work for me. Because just going to rehab does not keep you clean. Just doesn't work that way. Addiction is a disease that's got so many angles and it's so difficult to treat because you got to hit it from every angle and you got to hit it for the rest of your life. But I make a commitment to do that because it's what makes me happy. I love my fucking story. I love it. I love that I overcame addiction. I love that I had a crazy ass story. All the pain, it was all worth it. Because I never thought I would have an average boring life. I could tell early on. If you want me to tell the stories of what I used to do when I was like 17, you could judge for yourself. I wasn't going to the football game. I was in Pasha with a fake ID, driving the city with a license that I had gotten like 2 months prior. Like, who does that? Somebody like me ends up being somebody with a story who's got a YouTube channel. Because it's not just like your everyday average life. Nothing against that, but I knew that was never going to be me. So at least I got to turn it into something positive. Something that people tell me, like, I'm happy to have you in my life. When I see you, like, you bring something to the table for me. Like, as a friend, most of the time it's people that I never even knew that I touched their lives. And they tell me, like, you know, you were somebody who, like, showed up just in time. I really needed you. And, like, that makes me feel so good. Like, I'm not out here causing harm. I'm out here helping people. And, you know, life isn't perfect. But, like, look, I lost my dad. Never thought I could get through that clean. But, like, when it happened, the last thing I wanted to do was get high. Getting high is not going to change the bad things that happen in life. Life is going to show up. And we're all, like, you know, born on this earth, and we're all going to suffer. That's the reality. Life is pain, but you don't have to live in it. That's what I realized. I could get on here, go to a meeting, help somebody else, do something fun. I don't have to get high. I haven't had a drink, smoked weed to have fun in almost 2 years and 7 months. And I'm still out here having lots of fun despite what I'm going through. Having peace. I saw something. I'll wrap it up with this. I seen something online that said, having peace, does that mean that your life isn't insane and busy and going crazy around you? It means that in spite of all that, you're at peace in your heart. And that's what I live by. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, I love you guys so much and hope you guys have a great day.